Well, one of the great things about coming out to the west coast of America and doing car shows, as I've been doing now for a few years, is you get to catch up with a few old friends and faces. And I'm gonna put Rob Mason in that category right now, because Robert, we've chatted old cars a few times now in the California sunshine, but one car that we haven't spoken about before is this one, because you only picked up a few days ago, running in Group 1.
That's correct. This is the 1950 Johnny von Neumann MG Special. Was built in Los Angeles. John von Neumann basically stripped an MGTD to its bare bones and then turned it over to Emil Dietz, who was the go-to aluminum fabricator in the day. Built Indianapolis Roadsters and all sorts of wonderful stuff. Emil Dietz took that MG and basically threw everything away and built it back up, lowering the body over the chassis, building the fenders, building the valences, building the firewall. John von Neumann drove it in 1950 and never lost a race. There is a plaque on the dashboard with all the races he won with it. In November of 1950, he brought it up to the Pebble Beach Road Races and promptly won the very first under 1500cc race for sports cars. This car then went on well into the early 50s, but 1950 was its heyday. 1951, it came back to Pebble Beach in May and was promptly beaten by the Barlow Simca Special. Johnny von Neumann said, "I'm not going anywhere with this thing," and sold it and bought one of the very early Porsches to come into the country, raced that, and of course we know the history of Johnny von Neumann. He convinced the Porsche Volkswagen factory to give him the importing rights for Volkswagen Beetles and for Porsches, and he became a billionaire as a result. Getting beat in this car by the Barlow Simca changed the history of Johnny von Neumann and probably created the Volkswagen storm that took over the country. Be that as it may, it's a great race car. It is a survivor. It has been beautifully kept, and I've had a lot of fun with it the last couple of days up here, and it is very fast.
I mean, power to weight ratio on this thing must be huge, because it's very small, there's not much to it. But the class you're running in then, Group 1, 1947 to 1956, I think. This is an interesting time in road racing, post-World War II. So development of cars perhaps stopped a little through that war period, and they were kind of picking it up again post-war?
That's right. And of course you have in California the overlap with the hot rod craze and the development of speed equipment manufacturers. At that point, there were guys working out of their garages, but that became an industry. That overlap provided the skill sets, the specialized workers, aluminum fabricators, engine builders, to take those production British sports cars, the first ones we saw after World War II, and of course with the MGs, they really, once you drove them on the racetrack, you decided you were going to modify them. And they were very quickly modified. This one was modified more than anybody and probably has the record of more wins as an MGTD of all of them.
Well, as cars that have provenance go, this is right up there, but also as well, running in Group 1 this week, and excitingly, Jenson Button is here with his Jaguar C-Type. That car holds provenance because it's got Fangio as the first name on the pink slips of ownership. What a great car and what a driver to have at the Velocity.
Absolutely. We love having him with us, and of course we don't see much of him. He's a number of seconds faster than any of us, and including our bigger engine cars. That said, wonderful. We have C-Types that run with us regularly. They are always a great part of the show, along with the XK120s, and along with the Parkinson Jaguar Special, of course.
It's a really good-looking class, and we enjoy seeing them out on track. And as always, guys like yourself and James Alder just sitting across the way over there, we love having you because the stories are brilliant. Robert, thank you ever so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure.
Right, there you go. How about that? No, it's great. So how about that, folks? Group 1 here, 1947 and 1956, another golden era of motorsport, and we get spoiled with them here at the Velocity.